Ah, yeah. So Saturday in Calgary, it is toasty warm out there, and the sky is a horribly disconcerting color orange because fire, fire. That's a thing that's just our new normal. Because why would we want to address a climate emergency? It's crazy talk, I know. Um, I don't understand the way that people are able to look outside of my house. Like I live in Alberta, which is a very conservative place. They can look outside and be like, we didn't used to have fire season, but for the last bunch of years, we've had fire seasons. This is the worst that it's ever been. We haven't had summer. We've had summer with a chance of smoldering fire escape. Like almost maybe like a dozen days this summer where we've seen blue in the sky, and this is big sky country, right? We pride ourselves on that, but
What if we
this
gave
is
that
this is the fine folks at Fox News and John Taffer talking about the welfare state we live in. I find this particular situation just full of the chuckles, and I say that because people are acting like look at John Taffer looking just amazing. Um, we know that people are not going back to work quickly because of the whole pandemic being over, and we're struggling to understand why. So we'll watch the video, and then I've got some stuff I want to say about it. It's not a long video; it's like a minute and a half, or it's not even. It's 49 seconds.
we're incentivizing people to stay home? What if we gave that additional unemployment benefits to employers to incentivize people to go to work?
Well,
You mean like the millions and millions of dollars we gave to employers all the way through coronavirus to keep them afloat, so that the economy would keep moving? Or do you mean like the billions of dollars we gave employers to buy back their stocks and switch countries and stuff like? Or do you mean the billions of dollars in we don't bother having to pay taxes money that the billionaire class? I'm just trying to figure out which incentive they need most right now. The poor rich. Won't someone please think of the rich people?
what if we just cut off the unemployment? I mean,
Well, just cut off unemployment.
hunger is a pretty powerful thing. I don't mean physical hunger, because people who
Yeah, not physical hunger. We'll cut off their unemployment so that they can't pay rent or buy food, but it won't be physical hunger. It's a different kind. It's like a logical, emotional, spiritual hunger that it'll instill in them, and then they'll go back to work. You fucking go back to work, you dirty loafers.
truly
Wow.
are in need help.
I have a friend in the military who trains military dogs, Laura, and they only feed a military dog at night because a hungry dog is an obedient dog. Well, if we're not
I just want to point out he's talking about people. He's talking about like the people in the country he claims to love. When you're in the military, we want an obedient dog. You just don't feed it in the daytime because the hungry dog will do what it's goddamn told. So maybe we should treat poors like that. Yeah.
causing people to be hungry to work, then we're providing them with all the meals they need sitting at home.
Release the dogs. Jeez.
Yes, release the dogs. Okay, let's have a little jaw about that. I think that's amazing. I base this on the fact that it decidedly cruel to even consider that the right approach to getting people to go back to work is just to starve them out. And I think honestly, it says a lot about the John Taffers of the world. Kind of a gross take. Kind of. Like I suppose there's room in our society for people who are monstrous blood-sucking vampires to try and destroy all of us. But I still feel like that's probably not the best look. The interesting thing in my mind is that like this is contrary to everything about what we know about this whole situation. So let's take a look at this here document that explores the question: why people aren't going back to work. And this is by a Nobel-winning poverty researcher, as opposed to John, whatever the Tanner, whatever his fucking name is. So, the pandemic has forced society to confront how health and economic fragility are correlated, and there is hope that having some hard conversations about social and income equality will become easier. For Esther Duflo, a French-American economist and MIT professor who is the youngest person to receive a Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences, and only the second woman to receive the award, understanding the lives of the poor and how to design anti-poverty measures has been a professional mission for long before the pandemic. So that more intro stuff. When it comes to the debate over whether statewide unemployment benefits are responsible for workers choosing to stay out of the labor market, Duflo says economists such as herself aren't satisfied with an opinion not based on actual research. Weird. Last month, a myriad of states across the country ended their $300 weekly unemployment benefit ahead of the federal expiration date on September 6th, and a few of those states are even offering a $2,000 return to work bonus, which is an interesting approach. I don't have anything against the idea of return to work bonus. State leaders removed benefits in hopes of solving hiring challenges for businesses, but Duflo is in agreement with many economists who don't think this is either the cause or solution for the country's tight labor market. This is not the reason why people aren't going back to work as quickly as we thought they ought to, Duflo said. She says that doesn't mean more of a financial cushion and support from the government. Doesn't mean more of a financial cushion and support from the government has not at all influenced on how people plan and act. But Duflo was clear that sound bites about lazy Americans are wrong. People may, in fact, need more time to pick the right job and in many instances relocate for a job. And in the few weeks since states suspended benefits, it has not increased workforce participation, and in some cases it hurt the economy by decreasing household spending. So that's a thing that makes sense. If I would have expected that we would see a decrease in household spending if people don't have the extra $300 a month, they're not going to spend it. But the lack of an increase in workforce participation kind of gets in the way of that argument that, well, we're just giving them all this extra money and they're just lazy sitting around their house doing goddamn nothing. There are still more than 10 million Americans enrolled in pandemic-related programs, but Duflo said unemployment benefits gave people flexibility and doesn't make people lazy. The latest initial jobs claims number, released on Thursday, ticked up, but there's a decreasing number of continuing claims, the lowest level for insured unemployment since March 2020. So then we talk about how return for work is harder on women, particularly with childcare costs. They also talk about, how many women are forced to stay home, not because they don't want to return to work, but because their jobs don't offer flexible options, don't pay enough to cover childcare costs, or don't have access to childcare providers. These are not new issues. The pandemic has just brought them to the forefront. One of the things that's happened is people have had to get by with less in scenarios where you have like a married couple, for example, and they've gotten by with less. And now the question comes in, what do we do? Do you go back to work and do I go back to work? Or can we make it on one income and you stay home and raise the kids, which, fits that lovely model the Christians want us all to buy into. And a lot of people are saying, you know what? I'm not willing to now that I've experienced this whole, raising my kids full time thing. I'm not prepared to give that up. A lot of other people are looking at it going, the cracker factory was great, but I'm not going back there. I want a better job. I've got better things that I can do. And it's not that there's a shortage of labor people. It's that a lot of them aren't satisfied with the idea of working for like the least amount of money you can legally pay someone, sometimes lower. So it's a problem. The key thing here is that what we're looking at, the economics absolutely shows that the idea that Americans are just lazy and that people will just stay on unemployment forever is laughably stupid and completely bad. And it's like a complete bad faith argument. But yeah, so the economists say that this isn't the case, but the conservatives, who are supposed to really love economics, suddenly not so big on it. this all to me is a thing that just, it's a problem. We have the problem is that we have all this power in the hands of people who don't care and don't understand it, right? I'm talking about capitalism. That's what I do. I'm that guy. But if you think about this for even just a moment, like look at the concept of job automation. So we have seen automation for quite a long time in the private sector, and that has ramped up significantly. Just ask the people who made cars before Ford came around. Automation changes things, and every time you can get a computer or a machine or a whatever to do the job of a person or to do part of the job of a person, you need less people. That's just simple math. And it is promoted heavily by the people who run these businesses, and CEOs of multinationals want to automate. We always hear about the self-checkout lines are specifically about taking away jobs, and that's true. Automation in general supposed to save the number of workers. Almost invariably, what they do is they just somehow find a way to use it to grow, and then expect more from their workers to pick up where automation can't happen. Once upon a time, if you worked for a pipeline company, you might have to walk a length of the pipeline, like several kilometers, taking readings, looking for corrosion and looking for leaks and things like that. And you might be only out there every couple of weeks because of the size of the thing. Now we have systems that automatically do leak detection, corrosion detection, all of these things. So that guy doesn't have his job or her job, but there's still lots of people who are working in those fields. There's an entire automation sector within the oil and gas industry, or any industry that has any kind of manufacturing or anything like that associated with it. And yet we're still seeing people are working in these companies. And the problem I have with it is eventually we hit a point where automation will actually result in not having jobs for people. And that's not a terrible thing. The terrible thing is who has the means of production. Oh, yes, I used the commie words. If this is in the hands of the wealthy elite who refer to us all as lazy because we're not going back to work in their shit factories, they're not going to pay us to not work. All of that money goes straight into their pockets, which is already the case. They're already struggling at all times to make sure that they pay us as little as they can, extract the most value for our labor, and use it to buy super yachts. I get that. I'm sure I would enjoy having a super yacht. I guarantee you, my curly hair billowing in the breeze, standing there like DiCaprio, like that would be cool shit. But probably not a thing that we should do, where we encourage a small number of people to have all of the things and then a big number of people to just like die and get out of the way. That's probably bad for the overall system. So yeah, the means of production at some point are going to need to become nationalized. If we're automating people out of jobs, eventually those companies that are doing that, the revenues from those companies are going to have to go to support us. And since they don't pay taxes and they hide all their cash offshore, we're kind of fucked here. So that's a thing. This is the whole like do conservatives even realize the rhetoric they're talking about when they promote automation, when they talk about whatever lazy American bullshit conspiracy that they're farming out? It's all nonsense, and it's not even economically valid. But here we are. First off, I want to say thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It really does help me out. Thank you to my patrons that support me on Patreon. I am a little streamer, and these people are all really awesome for supporting me. Thank you to I Am Canadian. Special huge thanks go to my one prophet, Shithead Dave Anderson. And of course, my final tier of supporters is the Gods. This tier is the most expensive and likely to never have any members, but Patreon really told me I should have one, so It's true, I guess. There are no gods. I try to put up stuff at least once a week, and I live stream every Saturday at noon Mountain Time on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, like an old man. Again, thanks for watching, and have a kick-ass day.